That thing sounds sexy. Oops. How'd I just kill it?
I love you like la 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 la. I love you like la 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 la.
So we're back on the Beamer. It has been a total of like 8 weeks since I've had the bike. Well, no, I got it back last week, but I did some testing to make sure that the bike is actually solid, everything's gonna be good. And I think we got it figured out. And the reason why it took so long to get back has nothing to do with parts availability and stuff like that. There was just some things with the bike. It was a little difficult to pinpoint what the actual issue was. And I've said this a handful of times too, when it comes to this bike or any type of bike out there, when you're buying a new model and it's only been out for a year or two, this is the 21 and there was the 19 and the 20 years, and they had some issues and they'd work those issues out. Every year is going to have its own set of recalls or issues, but the good thing about buying a brand new bike is that you're going to have warranty that's going to cover all of those major expenses. And then on the flip side, buying a used bike with a handful of miles on it and a couple of years under its belt, a lot of those issues have already been corrected. They've already been fixed. So the chances of you having a major failure or a manufacturer issue is very minimal when buying a used bike. So there is an advantage, both sides of it. The disadvantage of buying the new bike is that when warranty work happens or you start having issues, it could be a certain amount of time before you actually get your bike back, and that kind of sucks. Not gonna lie. Thankfully, I've got other bikes in the garage. I got the Grom, I've got the Honda Magna, and those things kept me satisfied while this was being cared for. And if you've missed all of the other updates, go back into the video archives that I've got here, and you can see the update number 1 video and the update number 2 video that I made previous to actually getting the bike back 100%. Let's do a little bit of a recap if this is the first video of this series that you've seen. So basically what happened is the bike was shutting off when it was warm out. We were doing slower paced group rides and stuff like that. The bike would just shut off and it just wasn't running right. So basically, called the dealer and they're like, okay, well, is it throwing a code? Is it doing anything like this, anything like that, whatever. And the issue that I was running into is that, well, a couple issues actually. One, it was not throwing a code. There was no code on the dash whatsoever. I would just be riding, the bike would shut off, the electronics were still there, everything was fine, the bike would just stop, and then I would start it, it'd be fine for a couple minutes, and yeah, so on and so forth. Anyway, fast forward about a couple weeks, and I was actually at Eurocycles picking something else up. I don't remember exactly what it was, but as I'm leaving the dealership, the bike starts acting up. So I throw the keys to Bo, who is my mechanic there, and he took it for a ride. He's like, yes, it is acting up. Just leave it here, we'll take care of it. So that's what I did. Again, at this point in time, there was still no code on the screen, so we didn't know exactly what it was, but with his experience, they ended up doing the throttle assembly, which is this whole piece here, and also the 4 coils that are also known to go bad on these bikes. So they took care of all of that under warranty, and I got the bike back, and it was running great. And I was, got it back about a week after that, actually, so it was actually a pretty quick turnaround, and I thought that we were going to be good. Then fast forward to our Sunday Fun Day ride, which ended up taking us to Orlando, and I actually got stranded in Orlando because I started doing the exact same thing. Again, it was a hot day, and as soon as we hit that Orlando traffic, the bike started acting up and doing the exact same thing that it was doing before. Again, no codes on the dash. Nothing at all. I'm gonna go this way. So again, no codes on the dash, nothing to pull, nothing to point me into the right direction or anything, which is extremely frustrating, not only for myself, but also for the techs, because imagine Bo getting this bike and there's absolutely no way to just pull a code and figure out what's going on with the bike. Super frustrating. So basically, After it got picked up in Orlando, thanks to Bay Area Riders Transportation, we got the bike back. We took it back to Eurocycles, and that's when he ended up just going through the entire wiring harness, literally testing everything. I don't even want to know how many hours he spent on this bike, but he spent a lot. He spent a lot of hours on this bike, really testing every single thing out. Basically, I think we figured out what it was. Let's come back here. Let's find a hiding spot. Let's have a little talk. Let's see, where do we want to go? Where do we want to go? As a photographer, I've got a long list of areas that I really like for doing bike photos or truck photos and all kinds of stuff. I'm not going to tell you where those spots are, but I got them. Okay, this should work. All right, so we finally got the Beamer back, and I just want to talk a little bit about the kind of like everything that went down. And fingers crossed, the bike is good now. Everything is a-okay. Fingers crossed. So like I said, this has been kind of an ongoing thing for a couple months now. In fact, the first time the bike broke down was in December, and it was just kind of like an intermittent type issue, right? The bike was just shutting off, and it really just felt like the fuel pump was just cutting out. But the issue was that there was no codes showing up on the dash. There was no data to pull from the bike to see exactly what was going on, which made this whole process extremely difficult. In fact, the first time that it was doing it, I couldn't even take it to the shop because there was no codes, and then the bike stopped doing it because there was only certain times, certain types of rides and stuff like that where the bike would actually shut down. It wasn't all the time. The time that these issues were happening is when I was doing some of our big group rides and stuff like that on really hot days, like during the day in the sun, slow moving traffic. You kind of like the city traffic. That's when the issue would arise. So then the last time, which is 8 weeks ago, we didn't really know what to do or what to look at. So Bo ended up just going through the entire wiring harness. He was checking every single connection, trying to figure out what the heck was going on. And basically all of his testing kind of went back to it being a fuel pump issue. And fuel pumps can be finicky, especially within heat. This happens in cars, this happens in all kinds of things. And BMW is known for having fuel pump issues in their cars and in their bikes. In fact, previous generations of the S1000 actually had a recall on their fuel pumps for this reason. And what kind of helped determine this whole thing was, as my bike was in the shop, there was another S1000 in the shop for a very similar issue. The only difference was that bike was actually pulling a code which was pointing to the fuel pump. So they swapped out the fuel pump in that bike, and it's been great ever since, which helped them kind of figure out that maybe that's what's going on with mine. So we know we've got fuel, we've got air, we've got spark. Everything should be good to go. The coil's a fuel pump. Obviously it's getting air, I guess. So we should be good, but obviously I'm still gonna continue to test the bike. So I got the bike back last Friday, and over the course of those 3 days that weekend, I actually put about 450 miles on the bike, and purposely getting stuck in like crazy traffic on the hottest days, hoping that the bike just kind of keeps running, and it did wonderful. It didn't skip a beat, which makes me feel pretty confident in the fix that was made, and we should be good from here on out. But I know a lot of you have been waiting for this update. There's a lot of people that still want to buy this bike. They're kind of on the fence, and after watching some of my videos, they don't know if they want to go that route. But I can assure you that you can trust this bike. This bike's amazing. I'm super happy to have it back, and I wouldn't trade it for anything else. I know I joked about that when the bike was in the shop. You know, I was thinking about, you know, maybe I'll just go buy another Honda or something like that, but you know, the thing is, it doesn't matter what bike you buy. There's going to be issues. The new Hondas, they have issues. The new Cowies they all have issues when they're new. It's just the way it is. It's with cars, with bikes, with jet skis. It doesn't matter. There's bound to have some issues. But 99% of the other S1000s out on the road have zero issues. I just happen to be that 1%. Anyway, the bike, I just rolled over 8,800 miles on the bike. I've had it for a year now. Still super happy with it. I've been stuck to the Magna and the Grom for a while, so to get this bike back and be able to open it up has been, I needed that. I needed that a lot. Anyway, I want to give you guys an update on that. And yeah, so we got the Beamer back, so there's going to be some more S1000 content coming up. It's about to rain, so I'm going to head home and maybe give this thing a bath before the rain hits. We'll see. Anyway, until next time.
I love you like